Hello and welcome to the final countdown, a special show in the lead up to the exit polls and the final verdict of the 2024 general elections. We'll be going through key states that will decide on who will rule from Raisina Hill. Today we're talking about Maharashtra. More specifically, the question that we're asking is, can Sharad Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray stop Narendra Modi? Now, Maharashtra is key to the BJP's goal of getting over 370 seats in this election. The state has the second highest seat tally in the Lok Sabha, 48 MPs. It's an economic powerhouse. It's India's financial capital. It's the state with the largest economy. But Maharashtra has a fractured political landscape. In 2019, voters had to choose between the BJP, the Congress, the Shiv Sena and the NCP. Now, in the 2024 elections held here between April and May in 5 phases, besides the BJP and the Congress, the voters had to choose from 2 factions of the Shiv Sena and 2 factions of the NCP. That's a total of 6 parties. On one side is the NDA, the ruling Mahayuti with the BJP, Shiv Sena of Chief Minister Eknath Shinde and the Nationalist Congress Party of Ajit Pawar, versus the Maha Vikas Aghadi or MVA, consisting of the Congress, the NCP of the Sharad Pawar faction and the Shiv Sena of the Uddhav Thackeray faction. Before I continue, let me introduce my guests for this evening, my colleague Kartikeya Sharma and Ajit Kumar Jha. Welcome, gentlemen. Let me start by looking at what the key players are saying about Maharashtra.
इंडिया अलायंस के लोग दक्षिण भारत को अलग करने की धमकी दे रहे हैं। इंडिया अलायंस में शामिल डीएमके पार्टी सनातन को डेंगू, मलेरिया कहकर उसके खात्मे की बात करती है और कांग्रेस नकली शिवसेना वाले उन्हीं लोगों को महाराष्ट्र में लाकर उनसे रैली करवाते हैं।
मोदी जी, तुम्ही माझ्याशी लढा, पण माझ्या आई वडिलांचा अपमान केला तर मी सहन करणार नाही। तुम्ही कोणी असाल, तुम्हाला तुमची जागा दाखवून दिल्याशिवाय राहणार नाही। काय म्हणाले मोदी कि बाळासाहेबांच्या नकली संतान को मैं पूछ रहा हूं, मैं नकली? अरे बेअकली, बेअकली माणूस आहे हा। माझा अपमान नाही, माझ्या देवता समान माझ्या माचा अपमान आहे, माझ्या वडिलांचा, माझ्या बाळासाहेबांचा अपमान आहे।
धर्म के आधार पर बजट का भी बंटवारा, धर्म के आधार पर इन्होंने देश को बांटा और आज भी वो धर्म के आधार पर भांति भांति के बंटवारे करने में लगे हुए।
सारी एजेंसीज हैं, ईडी, सीबीआई, इनकम टैक्स, जैसे हम इंडिया गठबंधन बनाकर सबके सामने आए हैं। अगर आप में हिम्मत है तो बीजेपी को मैं कहता हूं, चुनौती देता हूं कि बाकी सारे लोगों को छोड़ दो, आप सीधा आपके बैनर पर लगा दो कि बीजेपी के साथ जो 3 साथी पार्टी है वो ईडी, इनकम टैक्स और सीबीआई है।
लेकिन कांग्रेस कह रही है कि एससी, एसटी, ओबीसी और गरीबों का आरक्षण छीनकर मुसलमानों को दे देगी। कांग्रेस आपकी संपत्ति को भी जब्त करके उसका हिस्सा अपने वोट बैंक को देने की तैयारी में है।
जो सरकार किसानों को आतंकवादी मानते हैं और जो सरकार किसानों को दिल्ली आने से रोकती है, तो पूरे अब समय है कि पूरे देश के किसानों ने किसानों को आतंकवादी समझने वाली भाजपा सरकार को दिल्ली आने से रोकना होगा। जैसे आपकी राह उन्होंने आपके रास्ते दिल्ली आने से रोकी थी, वैसे अब किसानों ने बीजेपी को दिल्ली आने से रोकना ही होगा। और एक नारा जो मैंने मुंबई में दिया था, वो जो कहते हैं कि आपकी बार 400 पार, मैं आपको आह्वान करता हूं कि जहां से आप आए हुए हैं, आप जाओ, अपने घर पे जाओ, जहां भी जाएंगे गांव में जाओ, लेकिन एक नारा आपको देना होगा तानाशाही के खिलाफ, अब की बार भाजपा तड़ी पर।
Now let's break down the importance of this election.
In Lok Sabha elections 2024, Maharashtra has emerged as a battleground of titans, sending the largest number of MPs to the Lok Sabha after Uttar Pradesh. With 48 seats at stake, the seat is crucial for the national ambitions of every party. Maharashtra has two major alliances in contest: the Mahayuti comprising BJP, Shiv Sena and NCP, and the MVA led by Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena, Sharad Pawar's NCP and the Congress. These Lok Sabha elections are unique in many ways. For example, Supriya Sule is facing the toughest battle of her political career. In Baramati, she is contesting against her sister-in-law Sunetra Pawar, who is wife of Ajit Pawar. Ajit, nephew of Sharad Pawar, leads the NCP faction, which is now a part of BJP-led NDA. Maharashtra's politics saw dramatic twists and turns between 2019 and 2024. These included the splits in the Shiv Sena and the NCP, toppling of the MVA government, and the swearing in of the Eknath Shinde-led Mahayuti government. In 2014 and 2019, the Saffron NDA alliance with the unified Shiv Sena led by Uddhav swept the Lok Sabha polls, winning 42 of the 48 seats. Such a sweep is difficult to imagine this time. The Maharashtra Lok Sabha battle is full of parties fighting factionalism. Apart from the political muddle, farmer distress and acute unemployment seem to be the burning issues in this election. These could affect the BJP in regions like Vidarbha and Marathwada. PM Modi addressed 12 rallies at seats perceived as vulnerable by the BJP, clearly underlining the importance of Maharashtra's 48 Lok Sabha seats. The Maharashtra Lok Sabha elections won't be a cakewalk for the BJP-led alliance. It is likely to be one of the most keenly fought electoral battles in 2024. If the party wants to come anywhere close to its slogan, "Ab ki baar 400 par," it must maximize Maharashtra.
Now, before we come to the first segment of our show, let's look at what the various opinion polls said before the elections. There you have it, gentlemen. Fractured mandate with all the opinion polls predicting double digits for the India alliance and, of course, increased numbers for the NDA. But the biggest discussion point in Maharashtra, Kartikeya Sharma, is the sympathy factor. Sharad Pawar says his party was taken away from him by his ambitious nephew Ajit Pawar. Uddhav Thackeray says that Eknath Shinde, his lieutenant, took the Shiv Sena and the symbol of the Shiv Sena, the bow and arrow symbol, away from him. How much of a factor do you think this sympathy is going to be in Maharashtra?
I think it is a factor, but I don't think it's going to be the factor. It is a factor because Eknath Shinde has not been able to take over the physical infrastructure of Shiv Sena.
Right.
I'll give you an example. When Mupanar Congress was raised,
in Tamil Nadu,
the flag was hoisted in the Congress office. So the Congress office became Tamil Manila Congress office.
Right.
And it happened through Tamil Nadu.
Right.
The entire infrastructure shifted. To some extent, very silently, it has happened in Andhra Pradesh, where the entire infrastructure of the Congress has been taken over by YSRCP.
Right.
It is the new Congress.
Right.
It's just the name has changed. Why Rajashekar Reddy has become integral to the Congress there.
Yes.
That similar thing of overtaking of the infrastructure has not happened, which means that the organizational footprint of Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena remains intact.
Right.
Now, whether he will be successful in mobilizing it is a different story. But as of now, yes, Eknath Shinde has been able to rest more people in Assembly and Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha.
Bulk of the MPs and MLAs.
Legislators have gone there.
Right.
But the desertion at the level of the Shiv Sena office
Yes.
is not visible.
At the shakhas.
Shakhas.
Yes.
So that is why I would say that he has this card in his hand.
Right.
How much he is able to deploy it,
Yes.
one will have to wait.
Yeah, important point there. Ajit Kumar Jha, what Kartikeya says that the party has actually been fragmented. The MPs and MLAs have walked over to Eknath Shinde, but the grassroots, the cadres are still with Uddhav Thackeray, and they are in very large numbers. How do you think he can leverage the sympathy factor in this election? Do you think that the voters are going to be swayed by that? Because at the end of the day, it's what the voters decide, right?
You see, obviously, in certain regions
Yes.
where the Shiv Sena bastion lie,
Right.
in those regions, I think you will have a massive sympathy factor.
Right.
But given the fact that the organization is in Shinde's hand,
Right.
More or less, it's tough to figure it out exactly which way the wind will blow. I have a feeling that Marathas, being a person who take loyalty very seriously, so that the fact that Shinde is seen as an upstart, as a guy who has backstabbed, Thackeray, so that I think will go against him. But having said that, you look at Shinde, the way he has handled,
Right.
for example, the Maratha agitation.
Yes.
The Maratha agitation last year was surging, right?
Yes.
But by January, Shinde started, negotiating
Right.
with them and pacifying it. Again,
Yes.
it kind of reignited in February, but Shinde,
He's managed to control the agitation, yes.
In background, he has Devendra Fadnavis.
Right.
He has the whole BJP backing him.
Right.
So,
Yes.
it's difficult to decide at this
Right.
moment which way it will break. But obviously, as you rightly pointed out,
Yes.
Maharashtra's each party is fragmented, each
Right.
community is fragmented.
Right, right. It looked at one point, it looked like it would be like the Patidar agitation, the Maratha agitation, but it's kind of fizzled out a bit. But Kartikeya, what do these numbers tell you? This is 48 seats. It's the second largest number of seats in the Lok Sabha. Last time around, 41 seats went to the BJP, Sena combined, and now you're looking at this. BJP 28
what
seats.
I look at it is
Sena 21
what I
seats.
look at it, how I look at it is a problem for all the contestants. You see, elections are fought on ground whereby people, workers, they coordinate with each other
Yes.
at the level of booths. Indian elections works on kinship network, organizational network, friendship network, ideological network. Everything is fractured. So this whole reorganized constituency is going to be a challenge for each political
Right.
constituent. The second thing which I am interested is in that Maharashtra has fallen back in industrialization,
Right.
in employment rates.
Yes.
It's not a
Per
rich
capita,
it's not a
GSDP.
rich Maharashtra we are
Yes.
looking at. Karnataka is richer.
Right.
Telangana has done well. Look at Tamil Nadu.
Right.
Even the investments have gone to Gujarat.
Right.
So we are looking at Maharashtra, which is looking at as better yesteryears.
Yes.
So it is one issue we have to take in mind, because Maratha reservation is in tip of iceberg.
Yes.
Basically, you have a dominant community saying that they don't have jobs.
Right.
But then
A
you have
community that makes 30%
absolutely.
of the state.
But it also goes on to, and then it also goes on to tell us that the dividends of the cooperative revolution
Yes.
has vanished. And our Home Minister holds the
Yes,
portfolio
of
of
the
cooperatives.
cooperatives.
So these are added economic issues.
Right.
So whether these economic issues will resonate or not is a different thing. But Maharashtra at a societal level
Yes.
is undergoing a huge churn.
Tremendous churn because of the agriculture, the pressure that agriculture is in. But Ajit Kumar Jha, what do these
Just to add,
vote
just
shares tell you? Yes, yes, please.
just to add to what Kartikeya pointed out, agriculturally,
Right.
Marathwada
Yeah.
is in a very bad shape.
Right.
The number of farmer suicides
Yes.
is almost close to 100, the last measurement that I saw.
Right.
Maharashtra has always had high farmer suicides, but this is really bad. And remember that the Maratha agitation started from Marathwada.
From the farms,
right?
yes, and
So
from
in a
Marathwada.
way, it's an offshoot of the fact that there is a relative deprivation. Having
Right.
said that, Maharashtra in terms of GSDP is still the
Yes.
number one state, right? If India is to reach a $5 trillion economy,
Right.
Maharashtra has to reach first a $1 trillion, right, economy. But relatively, according to Ruchir Sharma,
Yeah.
the state has slid from number 2, number 3 status to number 10 today. So
Right.
that point that Kartikeya was making, that is causing a lot of anti-incumbency.
Right.
And the fact that the entire electorate is fragmented so badly, all the communities fragmented,
Yes.
all the parties fragmented.
So these vote shares that you're looking at from 2019, these don't make sense in 2024 anymore.
No, it makes sense. Actually, your data makes more sense. Your data is the story.
Right.
When you play out the data, now you are able to tell why Amit Shah and other senior leaders were so frustrated with Maharashtra.
Fragmented.
Just add 27 with 23, it is 50%.
Yes.
Add 15 to it, it was 16 to it, it was 55%. I mean to say it's more than 55%.
Yes.
So BJP had no chance in Maharashtra.
Yes.
Without breaking Shiv Sena and NCP, they
Right.
had no chance in Maharashtra. That
Yes.
is why Operation Kamal took place.
Right.
But in this data, one thing I would definitely like to state, I think there is a Muslim consolidation in India.
Right.
And the rhetoric which both Prime Minister has deployed
Yes.
has even furthered it.
Right.
And so I think parties like AIM, IM are going to lose out. They're not going to get more weights.
Right. So that vote is going to shift to the,
yes,
the Congress.
It's going to be a shift. The shift is going to be very visible in Uttar Pradesh also
Right.
because of BSP's complete collapse. This shift is going to be very visible in Maharashtra also. We will see this time block voting.
Right.
You mark my word, we will see block voting.
Right.
But you will in fact find seat with Congress with high voting percentage losing to BJP because they
Right.
will also witness higher consolidation.
Right.
You look at the rhetoric of election. I mean, look at what Prime Minister has said yesterday.
yes.
I know I'm talking about Jharkhand,
Right.
but it is in context. When he went to Jamtara, what did he say? About the Sunday being a holiday might go
Yes.
away.
Right.
And again, to add to what
Fear,
he's pointing
yes.
out, look at the Dalit vote. Prakash Ambedkar has taken an independent stand. Last time he was with the NDA, but this time he has
Yes.
got out of the
Right.
the alliance that he was forming along with the India alliance.
Right.
But other than him, all the Dalits are consolidated in favor of the India alliance. So in a way, it looks like as
Right.
if there is an alliance between at least 3 communities largely.
Right.
And that is the Muslim, as Kartikeya was pointing out, the Dalits and the Marathas because of the anger in this case.
Right.
The Kunbis in this case.
Right. So we're going to talk about the Marathas and the Maratha agitations. Marathas, of course, constitute 33% of the state's population. Mahayuti government has announced a 10% quota for the economically backward Marathas, but the unrest remains. Ajit Kumar Jha, how is this going to play out? The reservations that the government has announced, the Mahayutis announced 10% for the OBCs among the Marathas. Will that actually find favor with the electorate in this election? Will that determine the outcome of the 2024 elections in Maharashtra?
The Marathas are not too happy with it.
Right.
Right now, the situation is Marathas versus the OBCs.
Right.
There's a clear-cut division
Yes.
between the two. And obviously, again, the Maratha community is also partly divided because technically the Kunbis have reservations.
Yes.
So it's not quite clear which way it will go, but the agitation initially was
Right.
largely anti the government.
It was largely
the
anti
Shinde
the government, but then Kartikeya, it swung into an Maratha versus OBC kind of thing, where OBCs are 52% of the state. They're very influential.
See, it shifted because OBC is the key vote.
Yes.
We have to understand that the politics in entire India has shifted to OBC.
Right.
It's not Brahmin dominated anymore.
Right. That's
It's not even Thakur dominated. It's not,
And something that the BJP was
even
first to cotton
And even
on.
Muslims don't have say. If you
Yes.
if you look at Indira Gandhi's regime, I would say that pinnacle where you can you can make Antule Chief Minister of Maharashtra, you can have Banarsi Das Gupta
Yes.
in Uttar Pradesh, you can have a Pahari from Uttarakhand as
Right.
Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh,
Right.
or you can have a Rajput candidate as a Chief Minister of one of the states. It's gone.
That era of para-dropping chief ministers is
not
over.
even para-dropping. Making Chief Minister irrespective of the caste strength, that's
Right.
gone.
Right.
OBC is the key area of operation.
Right.
That is why Prime Minister has deployed that OBC gear vis-a-vis Muslim in this election
Right.
after BJP felt that the constitution debate is hitting at them.
Right.
My understanding is they felt that this election could turn into the Bihar of 2015,
Yes.
where the silent campaign worked,
Right.
that reservation to chala jayega.
Right.
So when we come back to this OBC Maratha issue, yes, OBC will be the center
Yes.
of any political decision which will be taken, whether in this election or any other election for a long time to come,
Right.
unless and until any politician after Modi re-engineers the vote.
Right.
Like the way he re-engineered Dalit vote by splitting it into Jatav and non-Jatav
Right.
Dalit.
Right.
Yadav and non-Yadav
Non-Yadav.
OBC politics
Absolutely.
of Uttar Pradesh. But nationally, the OBC sentiments is, I would say, sacred to any political outfit. They
Right.
will not cross sword with it.
Right, absolutely. In fact,
fact,
Ajit
if
Kumar
you-
Jha, it's the story of the last decade has been the OBCification of the BJP. When the BJP is gone full-fledged, it's the entire hierarchy
even go
today
in-
is
And
from
in Maharashtra,
OBC.
especially
Yes.
the Vanjaris, the Malis, the
Malis,
Dhangars,
yes.
this is the mainstay of the BJP,
Right.
the support base of the BJP.
Right.
They have penetrated that community by splitting the OBCs in 2-3 ways. Even they have split a part of the Marathas. So, and the fact that they had, a Brahmin chief minister in the
Yes.
past, now a
Right.
deputy chief minister, Devendra Fadnavis.
Absolutely.
So the upper caste votes are with them. So it's
Right.
it's a very interesting combination of the OBCs
Right.
and the upper castes in the BJP. And one more point I wanted to make.
Yes.
The BJP did the right thing by contesting more seats this time.
Yes.
Last time out of 25 it won 23.
23,
So
the
this time
highest
they are-
strike rate, yes.
Right. So this time they are
Right.
contesting more seats, realizing
Yes.
that its allies are facing a serious challenge.
That's right.
So that might favor the BJP being the single largest party,
Right.
and therefore able to sort of cobble together, allies of,
Right.
And, you
besides
should
them.
not also conceive OBC from the perspective of caste politics. You have OBCification of Hindutva also.
Right.
All the Hindutva massacres from 1990 are OBCs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Prime
Yes.
Minister Narendra Modi,
Prime Minister
Kalyan
Narendra Modi,
Singh,
Kalyan Singh.
Vasundhara Raje Scindia,
Yes.
Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Uma Bharti.
Uma Bharti.
All OBC leaders.
Right.
All OBC leaders. So there's a word called, subalternization of Hindutva. I disagree
Yes.
with this subaltern study. That is, I said, OBCification of Hinduism.
Or
Yes.
called co-option of the
Co-option.
OBC.
Absolutely.
It is
The
like
OBC,
this. It
yes.
is like this. This sudden surge of vegetarian in context of practicing Hinduism.
Yes.
You'll find that it's not visible with upper castes.
Right.
They behave differently in terms of food practice and Hinduism.
Right.
But with OBCs,
Yes.
it's exactly different. You go to Haryana, you go to Western UP, or observe a practicing OBC Hindu family.
Right.
You'll find a different strand of vegetarianism there.
That's true.
Right.
Even among the scheduled caste, actually.
Absolutely.
Even
Right.
among the scheduled caste.
But, talk about the Dalits. Ajit, how do you see the Dalit factor in Maharashtra? It's very important from the perspective of Ambedkar's politics. And Dalits are an extremely important factor because in 48 seats, there are 5 that are reserved for the scheduled castes. And in 2019, the BJP and the then undivided Shiv Sena won 2 seats each with 1 independent. So, Dalits in 2024, how important are they in Maharashtra?
See, Dalit politics in Maharashtra has always been the defining moment ever
Right.
since Ambedkar, right? But what happened is that the Republican Party of India, I mean
Yes,
Ambedkar's
again
party,
fractured,
fractured into
fragmented.
8 units.
Yes.
And then Prakash Ambedkar at one time was the tallest of all.
Right.
He was this time supposed to be a part of the India alliance.
Yes.
The bargaining went all wrong.
Right.
And that, I think, is one of the weaknesses of the India alliance.
Yes.
That it always at times ends up kicking out the very important player.
The important players.
Yeah, because once Prakash Ambedkar is out,
Right.
symbolically,
Yes.
a large section of the Dalits will just float away from the India alliance. And according to some analysts,
Right.
Prakash Ambedkar openly says he's independent,
Right.
but he's making moves which almost seem he's sympathetic to the BJP.
Right. Kartikeya,
You
you
know-
look
you
at
know the
this,
question-
32 constituencies, Dalits make 10%,
You see,
10
the
to
question
16%.
we should ask is
Yes.
that why has radical Dalit politics failed in India?
Right.
I mean, say there is new constitutionalism in this country today,
Hmm.
where there are debates around the constitution. It's the new god
Yes.
in our pantheon. But all due respect, but the fact of the matter is, how come Dalits being part of a larger political mainstream? You see,
Right.
one way of looking at Dalit politics is from exploitation, economic deprivation, lack of dignity provided by this society to them, lack of opportunities.
Right.
But from the Dalit perspective, I have a different sociological argument.
Right.
Dalits have always identified themselves with mainstream political parties.
Yes.
One day working with the Congress party.
Yeah, Jagjeevan Ram.
Yes.
When Mayawati from Bahujan went to Sarjan, didn't she form a perfect government with simple majority?
Right.
She did.
And Ramvilas Paswan.
And Ramvilas Paswan. So Dalits have been part of India's political mainstream.
That's right.
I can even go on to say that even the Dalit radicalism of Baba Saheb Ambedkar failed in front of Gandhi.
Yes.
So Dalits understand the nuances of power, the Dalit politicians. So the choices they will make will be how they can be represented in the larger mainstream.
By the mainstream political
Prakash would have been the biggest politician in Maharashtra.
Right.
But that's not the case.
But he's a fringe player.
He's a fringe player.
Yes.
So when we talk of Dalit votes, we have to understand a historical perspective that they themselves have not given votes to fringe parties.
Right. Right. Important point there. And
just to add to what Kartikeya was saying, Ramvilas Paswan in a personal interview once told me, used a lovely metaphor. He said, if you take the palm, the Dalit is like the thumb.
Right.
It cannot fit in the palm without the other four fingers.
Right.
So his point was that we will just not survive independently. We need to ally with either one side or the other. I had asked him the question that people say you're the Paltu Ram, and you know you're joining every government in the center.
The vein of Indian politics. He knows which way the political wind is blowing. But Ajit, this Chhagan Bhujbal, one of the tallest OBC leaders in Maharashtra, mentioned the fact that when the BJP said 400 seats, they set this 400 seat goal. They kind of scored a self goal because a lot of people started then saying that the constitution would be amended, and that isn't playing out very well on the ground. He's said this on a number of occasions.
That's right.
Bhujbal is, of course, part of the Ajit Pawar faction of the NCP. Do you see this actually, getting any cadence in Maharashtra? The fact that the constitution will be modified.
In fact, he's one of the dissidents in the Ajit Pawar faction.
Yes, he's staying inside.
He sympathies with the Maratha agitation because he feels that if you don't support the Maratha agitation, you're bound to lose out in the long run. Because remember, we're not only facing a Lok Sabha election. By October, Maharashtra faces the state assembly.
Just 5 months, 5 months away.
And he's a cabinet ranked minister, so he is not contesting.
He's playing both sides. Right. So, which actually brings us to the next very important factor in Maharashtra, which we touched upon briefly early on. As Kartikeya mentioned, the Muslim factor. Muslims make up 11.54% of Maharashtra's population, and some key constituencies in Marathwada, Mumbai, and North Maharashtra, their numbers go up to 25%. And for the first time, you're seeing the Muslims as siding with a Thackeray, Uddhav Thackeray, the leader of the Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray. Members of the MVA have also wooed the community, and in this is a factor in certain constituencies. Is this adding up to something, Kartikeya?
I think this is the Achilles heel of Uddhav Thackeray. This is like going against the grain of a Shiv Sainik.
Right.
Shiv Sainik has been groomed in a certain tradition.
Right.
In that tradition, Muslims are the outliers.
Yes.
Uddhav Thackeray has neither deployed the language nor the pen of his father to describe them as an outlier.
Right.
Now that will definitely impact the enthusiasm. Eknath Shinde, on the other hand, has done it. It's in alliance with Bharatiya Janata Party. So he's sitting pretty cool about it. He's chilled about it.
Right.
He ideologically he's in the home base. Uddhav Thackeray is not. So Uddhav Thackeray's vote in Maharashtra will be challenged by his new body language, which is accommodative in context of minorities.
Right.
I think this is one challenge, or there's a very beautiful word in Hindi called, I don't know whether you have an English counterpart, yahi dwand hai. That's yahi dwand hai.
The fight is
The fight is a gladiatorial contest.
That's right.
That's where the problem is.
Right. So, Ajit, this factor of the Thackerays wooing the Muslim community in Maharashtra, very interesting. This is probably the first time it's happened, and compulsion of coalition politics. But you think this is going to actually go down well with the electorate, especially the Muslims who've traditionally looked at the Thackerays with deep suspicion?
See, the Muslims have no choice in this election, right? In a way, they have to side with the India alliance because they see Rahul Gandhi. I mean, their desire is that the Congress should lead the center, Rahul Gandhi as the Prime Minister. So they are going to come to Thackeray.
Right.
What might happen, as I think Kartikeya pointed out, that given the fact that the entire Shiv Sena came out of a Hindutva logic, in fact, more radical Hindutva than the BJP at one stage. Remember when it started as anti-Tamil,
anti-outsiders,
right? Anti-outsiders,
and then it finally became
anti-minority. So in a way, and then it turned anti-minority. So in a way, it is a difficult sort of compromise for the hardcore Shiv Sainiks. But I think what has happened is that Thackeray, he's an elite Shiv Sena, right? Look at him; he's a gentleman. He speaks very softly, and look at Shinde, the right opposite. He was a cab driver, and he came up from the bottom up. He's a more rugged sort of down to earth guy. So I think there'll be a split in that sense, that what you have, the upper caste, the upper class Shiv Sainiks will, the more liberal ones, will perhaps move towards Thackeray, and the more sort of grounded, the more, in a way, the OBCs and the SCs among them, they might move towards Shinde. But I think what is important here is to figure out the sympathy factor. How much is there anger against Shinde? That is something I have not seen any kind of measurement of that. So it's purely, one goes by emotions, that Marathas essentially being a loyalist community, they won't like this, that piche se chaku mara.
So that, betrayal is a constant theme in, Maharashtra's politics. Like, Chhagan Bhujbal had to, bear the brunt of that at some point, because he was called Lakhoba Lokhande after a, character in one of the plays, which is, a double dealing character. And this thing of, the insider who turns the outsider, who betrays the trust, that's a recurring theme in Maharashtra's politics, as it is in all of India's politics. But in Maharashtra, I think you've got that history thing to it as well. The insider who turns against the king and all of that. That's very that resonates a lot on the ground.
This time it is both against Ajit Pawar as well. Ajit Pawar sort of backstabbing his uncle, the most charismatic leader of Maharashtra at one time, the longest serving chief minister.
Absolutely.
In fact, Congress continued. In the rest of the country, Congress was out. In Maharashtra, Congress was there till the mid-70s, precisely because of Sharad Pawar.
Because of Sharad Pawar.
In fact, he dug his own heels when he ended up, sort of jumping from one side to the other.
He left the party twice.
That's right.
He's, but we'll come to Sharad Pawar later. But here's the big issue there on the ground, which is the fact that, of course, we know that rival Sena factions are facing off in 13 Lok Sabha constituencies, and the NCP factions are fighting in 2. But there's talk of non-cooperation between the BJP workers and Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena versus Ajit Pawar's NCP. So while the Shiv Sena has anti-Congress and anti-NCP votes in its side, the NCP has anti-BJP and anti-Shiv Sena votes on its side. Will these cancel each other out and not have any major impact? This infighting, this three-legged race that the Ajit Pawar faction, the Shinde faction and the BJP are running in this government, how is that going to play out, given the fact that the workers on the ground don't seem to be very happy?
The problem is going to be transfer of votes. You see, in BJP, fortunately, is the single largest party. So I have a feeling that because of the Modi image, because of the BJP's great organization, BJP might end up doing better. But the allies, they might face this serious problem that the BJP cadre may not go and sort of transfer their votes to the Shinde,
or the Ajit Pawar faction.
So that's where the allies will not, according to me, my estimate, the allies won't do very well in Maharashtra.
What happens if the allies don't do too well, Kartikeya? Because you're looking at the state elections just 5 months away.
I think the party and problem there is Ajit Pawar's NCP. You see, you have some sort of a working link between Shiv Sena and BJP workers despite the split. So, despite all problems, Eknath Shinde and BJP workers can work it out amongst themselves. Ajit Pawar's NCP is an outsider in the game. With I think 5 Lok Sabha seats they are contesting. They will be in the problem.
Four or 5
Lok Sabha. I think
seats,
they will have a problem for one reason, that organizationally
they are in a different ecosystem.
And they've never fought together.
They've never fought together.
Yes.
Secondly, their votes are different.
Yes.
The whole party has come up against Bharatiya Janata Party and
Right.
Shiv Sena politics.
Right.
So for him to take them inside is problematic.
Yes.
Eknath Shinde is like it's like a homecoming for half of the Shiv Sena with him.
Yes.
The only difference is that the Eknath Shinde aligns himself with the image of the late Shiv Sena leader Anand Dike,
Right.
who died in mysterious circumstances. So when you were talking about it, he associates himself with that sort of a politics. Rickshaw chalaya, three-wheeler में
Yes,
बैठे,
yes.
सड़क के बीच पे टेबल
Absolutely,
लगाई,
he's a
वहीं
classic,
जाके एकदम
Shiv Sainik.
justice दिया और फिर
Yes.
वहाँ से निकले. So that's the Anand Dike type of
Yes.
politics. So that's pretty okay. BJP also understands that what type of politics he is doing. Problem is with Ajit Pawar.
Right.
And if you would have noticed the body language of Ajit Pawar when the Prime Minister was in Mumbai.
They didn't look at each other at all.
Yes.
They didn't look at each other at all. So that is the gentleman who is in problem there.
Right. Ajit Pawar
He's also he faced a scam, right?
Right.
He's a corrupt figure. So you saw Prime Minister Modi,
Targeting
what
him,
Kartikeya is
yes.
referring to, came to sort of Ambedkar statue when he came there.
Right.
He just did not look
Yes.
even once at Ajit Pawar.
uncomfortable vibes there. But you know, Ajit, you have a state election in Maharashtra, very crucial state election, just 5 months after the Lok Sabha elections. How are these Lok Sabha results going to determine the outcome of what happens in October 2024?
See, it all depends on if the BJP comes back with flying numbers. If you see the BJP with 330, BJP allies together with, let's say,
At the center,
360,
they need,
370,
300
then I
plus.
think things will turn around.
Right.
Why? Then the BJP will grab most of the seats in the
Yes.
assembly, contest with
Right.
Mr. Modi,
That
Modi's
momentum will
leadership.
continue.
But in case that doesn't happen,
Right.
then you will see problems in the assembly polls.
Right.
If the BJP's number fall below, let's say, close to 270, 280, even if they form
Right.
the government, then you will see more of the problem taking place, more bargaining by Ajit
Yes.
Pawar, more bargaining by Shinde. But most likely, I think, since we are estimating a sweep for the BJP,
Right.
the Maharashtra Assembly elections should not be as difficult as the Lok Sabha elections today.
Do you agree with that,
See,
Kartikeya?
my understanding is if BJP does very well, then I would say politics for Sharad Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray is really over. Uddhav Thackeray for 10, 15, 20 years, you can say, but Mr. Pawar will have to resign. And I think all the political parties will be in problem. But if they give up a good fight, you know,
Yes.
even if it is 50-50, then you know the election becomes an open game in Maharashtra at
Right.
least. Because then there is hope.
Yes. There's
You
hope for
fight-
the opposition.
You fight elections, you fight war on hope.
Yes.
So the BJP actually works first on the hope and then on the organization, then on the money part. तो पहले तो
Yeah,
hope
they
को
work
खत्म-
backwards.
हाँ, पहले hope को खत्म करते हैं.
Right.
So if the hope is there, you will have a fight.
Yes.
I think the hope will be there.
But you know, one big mistake, according to me, that a politician as sharp as Sharad Pawar made before the election,
Yes.
when he declared that his party will be probably joining the Congress,
Right.
which means that
Right.
we seeing the eclipse of this great sort of
Eclipse of
star
this great
politician
thing, and that's,
from
brings us-
Maharashtra, and the eclipse of the party
Right.
after all.
Absolutely.
So that
So
I
that's,
think
that's our fourth segment there, Ajit.
I think it's also because of the fact that, you know, sometimes your very strength becomes your liability.
Yes.
The strength of Mr. Pawar was that, you know, he has connections everywhere. He
Right.
can punch above his weight.
Yeah.
But that has become his liability. Look at the bharosa hi nahi hai.
Right, right. So this is actually a very personal fight for Sharad Pawar. These elections are very crucial for his legacy as the tallest politician in Maharashtra. He's 83 years old. He's one of the senior most politicians in the country, very active. How do you think the outcome of these elections are going to determine his political career and indeed Supriya Sule's political career?
I think if the NDA sweeps Maharashtra and the rest of the
Right.
country, I think this is the eclipse of Sharad Pawar. Sharad Pawar is caught in his own labyrinth.
Yes.
The network that he laid all around Maharashtra at one
Right.
time, he was calling the shots, whoever won.
Yes.
And this time it seems all he is fighting for is Baramati.
Is Baramati. And Kartikeya, your take on the
My
Baramati
take
election?
is Sharad Pawar was always overestimated.
Right.
I was in school. I think Times of India published a cartoon, and that
no pun intended, but that summed up the Sharad Pawar's politics. Narasimha Rao was sitting like this, like an old man, like this. And then you had Sharad Pawar coming like this with a sword. And then there was another caption, Sharad Pawar was standing in front of Narasimha Rao, but this time the sword was down.
Right.
And Narasimha Rao was like this. And the third photograph was that Narasimha Rao was smiling like this. Sharad Pawar had put the sword in front of Narasimha Rao.
Right.
So the compromises, the political plays he has done, and the second photograph of that famous industrialist in, I think, 2014 in Mount Abu, where Sharad Pawar and that gentleman who had purchased a huge media house, they were smiling at each other.
Right.
And then you had BJP chief minister,
right.
and you had sulking Uddhav Thackeray, despite being a prominent partner outside the game.
Right.
So Sharad Pawar has been doing all that. Sharad Pawar broke Congress, saying that he's against Sonia foreign origin.
Outsider becoming
and all that.
the prime minister, foreigner becoming the prime minister.
And then for 10 years he was agriculture minister.
Right.
10 years
in
he
the
was
UPA.
agriculture minister.
That's right.
Mr. Pawar, who now speaks on split and everything.
Yes.
What did he do?
Right.
He picked up Karna Karan's son.
Yes.
He picked up Karna Karan's son.
Right.
That's how that party got built.
Right.
His career almost got destroyed.
Right.
Muralidharan's career almost got destroyed.
Right.
So he always punched above his weight.
Right.
He's a powerful, financially powerful politician,
Yes.
very well connected politician, respected also. But I think Modi has called his bluff.
Modi has called his bluff.
That's how I'm going to say.
Right.
उसका bluff call कर लिया.
Right.
You are a Maratha politician, respected politician,
Right.
but you are not even a pan Maharashtra politician.
Interesting point there.
Well, just
a
to
regional
give two positive
satrap.
sides to
Yes.
Sharad Pawar, one of the best agriculture ministers
Right.
India ever had. And the kind of work he did as agriculture minister is outstanding. And Maharashtra, at one time, now we are talking about famine deaths in Maharashtra. Maharashtra started the massive push for exports from Maharashtra. All kinds of commercial crops, sugarcane, of course. And the final thing one might say at the end of this great career of a man who I am saying today is caught in his labyrinth, perhaps he would have been one of the best prime ministers Congress party never had.
Best prime ministers Congress party never had, and that was always his burning ambition. That cartoon that you spoke of was about the time he thought he had already become prime minister, and Narasimha Rao, pulled a fast one on 1991.
Yes.
But I think that the problem in the thing is the Congress party, which you display your ambitions, you're too ambitious, you're immediately cut down to size.
That's right.
It also reflects one side of Mr. Pawar. He knows how to cut a deal.
Right.
But then politicians who know how to cut a deal sometimes fail to strike big.
Right.
For example, Arjun Singh, when he had to resign, didn't resign.
As a Union HRD
and
minister.
it is very well documented. Right. One of the Babas said this is not the time to resign, and he didn't resign. So sometimes when you need to strike big, then you need to make no compromises like VP Singh.
Right.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Like VP Singh, you can
going
make
out
fun
on a
of
limb
him,
with Mandal. Yeah.
But he took certain decisions which made him the prime minister.
Yes.
He took those decisions.
Or even Jagjeevan Ram, who actually resigned and became the deputy prime minister.
He became the deputy prime minister. Right. So sometimes you need to take those decisions. Or for example, even like Rajnath Singh.
Yes.
When he knew when to switch the side, and he switched the side.
Yes.
And he continues to be the minister, a very powerful minister in this government. So I think the problem with Mr. Pawar was that he was cutting too many deals simultaneously, because a lot of people say that he was the one who sent Ajit Pawar to explore.
Right.
It has been publicly stated.
In 2019, when that short-lived government with
so he was the one.
Fadnavis.
So when you are exploring so many things, you are saying that the Congress, he's open to the idea that his party can merge with the Congress party, and then you say the leaders will have to decide. Who will decide, bhaiya?
Exactly.
You are the leader. You are the party.
I think he realizes that NCP Sharad Pawar group is almost finished organizationally. Right. It doesn't have the clout. It doesn't have the voter support. He is old. He's left with his daughter alone. The family is divided. So then, what do you do at this stage? And therefore, he thinks that maybe for 2029, all the like-minded parties, along with him, should come together. Probably what will end up happening is NCP might join Congress, and the rest will keep on fighting their own games.
Right. Absolutely. And what do you make of this? In the MVA, you have Uddhav Thackerays faction contesting 21 seats and Sharad Pawar's faction contesting just 10 seats. And the Congress, of course, the second largest number of seats, it's 17.
But that's pretty okay. NCP has been confined to certain areas. NCP has not
Western
been a
Maharashtra party of Western Maharashtra.
Would have been better if the Congress had contested more seats, because we don't know Shiv Sena faction how much does it control Maharashtra.
Commodity. But
if it was the other way around, 21-17.
So Uddhav Thackeray, now this is a test of Sharad Pawar's political acumen and indeed his survival. What happens to Uddhav Thackeray in these elections? How critical is it for him?
If he doesn't end up winning most of those seats out of 21, it might be almost a death for him, because I don't know if he'll then be able to face the electorate for the assembly election.
You must also understand
he
that
really needs to win.
He is not also in pink of his health. We have to be very mindful of that. He had undergone a heart surgery.
That's right.
Okay, so he is not like any other politician. And the trait, or I would say the proof of the pudding, is in eating it. The first trait which I noticed, he gave up this fight with Shinde without staying put.
Yes.
He shouldn't have put in his papers.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So it just tells me about his mental makeup.
Right.
And then the Supreme Court made that observation.
Why didn't you fight?
Why didn't you fight?
Exactly.
So, you know, these are the things which, like, Pawar is a fighter.
Yes.
You recall that image of Pawar in previous election, wo white t-shirt pehn ke. What did people say? "Yaar, booda aadmi lad raha hai."
Right, absolutely.
So,
in the rain, in the pouring rain in 2019.
And who imitated him subsequently?
Oh,
Rahul
yes,
Gandhi.
we know that.
Rahul Gandhi,
Rahul Gandhi did that, and Rishi Sunak very recently.
And Rishi Sunak.
Yes.
So, the point I'm trying to make is, people haven't seen Uddhav Thackeray struggling.
Yes, they haven't. And in fact, I must tell you this Sharad Pawar anecdote. Many years back, when he was in the opposition, you had the first Sena BJP government, or rather the first time that Manor Joshi was the chief minister. I asked him about the Shiv Udyog Sena, which was an employment guarantee scheme that the Shiv Sena had launched. So Mr. Pawar turned around to me and he said that, well, Shiv Udyog Sena has given jobs to only 2 unemployed youth, Uddhav Thackeray and Raj Thackeray. So that is Sharad Pawar for you. Absolutely.
And now he's relying on.
And now today he's relying on Uddhav Thackeray to deliver
Uddhav Thackeray,
Maharashtra.
I think, has done one good thing.
Yes.
And that is, and I think I actually should thank Sharad Pawar for it, that because he came out with the out-of-box solution,
Right.
he brought, in a way, Uddhav Thackeray into the so-called liberal camp,
Right.
into the India alliance. So the Shiv Sena has got some acceptability even among the left liberals today.
Yes,
And because he's a typical refined figure, you know, he's very suave,
Right.
you know, he looks very gentleman.
Yes.
But as I think, as Kartikeya had pointed out, that is opposite of what the Shiv Sena stands for.
Absolute
But there's,
opposite of
but
what
there's
Shiv
also
Sena
one
stands
thing, you know,
for.
with
Yes.
the speeches which the Prime Minister has given in Jharkhand.
Right.
I'm convinced that this election will not be about regional slogans.
Right.
Prime Minister, by making the other of the Muslims, whether you say in terms of tactical politics or strategic politics, has made it into a national election.
Right.
I think they thought that the election is going down by the seat or the region. He has made it national. Every state after the first phase he has gone.
Yes.
He has accused Congress of minoritism
Right.
or Muslim League, from Sunday to Friday to reservation to food to Mangal Sutra.
Yes.
So I think this vote will be around whether you want Modi or you don't want
Whether
Modi.
you want Modi or
This
Yeah,
Lok Sabha
important,
election
yes.
is not about who do you want as India Bloc's Prime Minister
Right.
or whether India Bloc should win or not. This election is around Modi चाहिए
Yes.
या मोदी नहीं चाहिए.
Modi
अगर
चाहिए,
मोदी
Modi
चाहिए,
चाहिए.
हाँ, नहीं
That's
चाहिए.
what strong leaders do, I
That's
guess.
what this election is about.
Absolutely, very,
Both
very important point there.
2014
Yes.
and 2019
The presidential
were won
style,
because of Narendra
yes, the
Modi,
presidential
not because
style
of BJP.
Elections, the US presidential style elections,
That's
where Modi has yet to meet a strong a contender, a Democrat,
Yes,
if you can call
yes,
it. If Modi is a
absolutely.
Republican,
In fact, people
doesn't have
point
a
out
Democrat.
that Modi ji इसलिए जीतते हैं because Rahul Gandhi is on the other
Yes,
side.
but
right? So,
Ajit Kumar Jha, before we go, what's your seat prediction for the India Alliance and for the NDA in Maharashtra?
see, I think that the NDA would end up getting close to between 30 to 32 seats in Maharashtra, maybe even a little over.
Right.
The rest would, of course, end up being taken by the India Alliance. I think the big mistake was that just like the BJP contested more seats,
Right.
the Congress should have contested more seats and told Shiv Sena, told Thackeray that in the assembly election you lead,
Right.
in the Lok Sabha let us lead,
Yes.
because the choice is for Prime Minister.
Right.
The choice is for who will replace Prime Minister Modi.
The national
that was
election.
the big mistake.
Right.
That
Kartikeya, your numbers for this.
I think BJP alliance will have an advantage,
Right.
because Congress has not been able to organize its house. That's also
Right.
one weakness. Congress, despite being a pan-Maharashtra party, is organizationally weak, because the nature of the Congress in Maharashtra, or the nature of the politics, was centered around families,
Right.
not cadre. You had 50, 60, 70 important families in Maharashtra
Yes.
running the entire organization, and they would compete with each other. Families competing with each other. It's not like a cadre thing. So though a lot of families have gone out of fray.
right. Yes.
People know Ashok Chavan because
Right.
Delhi saw him as a chief minister of Maharashtra. But if you look at it from the perspective of Mumbai, Nagpur, Nashik, a lot of families district level families
Yes,
have gone out.
have
So
gone
the
out.
Congress has become weak. It is for this reason I say that the BJP will have an alliance, because in Maharashtra Muslims are not a sizable. They don't have a sizable
not.
say.
What numbers would you give the BJP and what numbers would you give the India Alliance?
I would say out of 48, BJP alliance should get 30 seats.
30 seats. So it's not very far from what Ajit Kumar Jha said.
And
But-
India Alliance can get 18 seats.
Right.
Because we also need to understand that Ajit Pawar's party is a problem for BJP.
Yes.
It is a problem. That's the grey area. Here, they have been able to work out the differences. If you look at the narrative of the reportage,
Right.
no local level fight has been reported in YouTube or newspapers.
Yes.
That Shiv Sena leaders or Pawar or Congress leaders are fighting with each other. They're
Yes.
not fighting with each other. Nothing of that sort has been reported.
Right.
It's only Bari Shankar here which is giving headache to Gandhi. But local leaders have not done that.
Yes. Right.
So on that, I would give certain numbers to this alliance.
Right, absolutely. So it looks like a very dim forecast for the Pawar Uddhav camp. Whether they can stop Modi, it looks very unlikely. My learned guests have been telling us this for the reasons that we just spoke about. That's all we have in this edition of Final Countdown. Do tune in at 9 p.m. tomorrow for our next edition. Thanks for watching the Final Countdown.